Hi everyone, this is Mule again. Welcome back to my channel. Um, if you've not been in my channel before, you've not listened to any of my videos, welcome. I hope you'll be able to go back and listen to the other videos. Some of them are long, some of them are short, maybe they are short clips, but at least whatever is shared, I hope you'll be able to listen whether it's long or short. For the long recordings, maybe you can download them if you're able to, and then you can listen at your own leisure. So thank you. I hope you'll subscribe and share these recordings. You'll be able to like or whatever videos that you're hearing, so that more and more people will be reached by this, especially if you can share with your friends so that they can listen, they can come to the channel themselves and listen to whatever is posted here. Thank you so much. This recording, the message God gave me was when he spoke to us was on 26th of October 2022, and it's talking about punishment, that what we are going through is not a punishment. The persecutions and the tough uh, things that we had been going through, my brother and I, because we are ministry partners, um, is not punishment. Whatever we have been going through, this the being cut off from our home, our families, is not a punishment. So this evening I started seeing an image, a faint image of Father God in front of us in the sitting room where we were seated. And I had him call me, my spirit over, or rather, I go into the spirit where he is. So I went and I saw myself sitting on his lap, and then he pushed me in to his chest. He pushed me to rest on his chest, and then he began to minister peace and peace and peace on me. And at a certain point, I told my brother that I actually told him what I was hearing God saying, for him to stretch out his hand and greet Father God. So he stretched out his right hand, and he got confirmation through whatever was passing through his hand that it was Abba Father. And then he ministered strength. He said he was ministering strength, peace, joy, and to us, and he also began to speak to us. Okay, so this is what Abba Father began to say. I'm not punishing you. I'm not punishing you. There's no punishment. If you're thinking it's punishment and you haven't even passed through a lot, what would my son Yeshua have said? It's not punishment. Those are just missions, paths you have to go through and will continue passing through until you reach your final destination. I can't tell you it's in the future because you are already walking in it. And again, I am telling you, you are already walking in it. So it's nothing to do with the future. You're already in your future. You're already walking in it. There's nothing that's coming in the future. You are already walking in it. It's not a punishment. I'm always with you. So, all this that he's been talking to us, this is also an encouragement to all the remnants, because when I was asking what video, what recordings, what messages to give, I was led to this particular one so that it can encourage remnants. A lot of remnants are going through a lot of things, and some of them don't even know what is happening, why things are happening in their lives, why they're passing through so much persecutions from friends, from family, from strangers, from their authority, all that. So there's a lot of things that are going on in people's lives right now. Those who know, they are remnants, and those who don't know. So I continue. It's not a punishment. I'm always with you. I'm your father, and I'm always with you. I'm always with you, and your brother Yeshua is always with you. We have never left you. We never leave you. The Holy Spirit is also there. He never leaves you. Every corner you take is not strange to me, because I'm directing you in so many ways and so many places. You can also attest to that, that you can also confirm with the things and the people that you have met, that this was not you journeying yourself, directing your paths. Otherwise, things would not have looked hooked up the way they did, and you'd not have gone to particular people like you have. That's my way of directing you. You don't need a direct word. Even coming here was not a surprise. Even coming here was not a surprise. How can it be? How can it be? And I arranged it. How? So at this moment, maybe I can explain. We are in a place that God has already removed. My brother and I, we've already been removed from our home. Um, where our homes and our property has already separated us from everything. Our father died in 2018, and we have been separated from the inheritance. Everything we have let go, and we have left it to our siblings. So he has separated us from our father's inheritance, as I said. And so he took us out of home, out of that which was familiar, out of what we were, the house we were living in. And where we are right now is a transition point, because he told us he's uprooting us from our homes, um, from our parents' homes and properties, just like he did Abraham in the Bible. And he's going to uproot a lot of people, a lot of remnants, especially the forerunners. You're being uprooted from your home, from the inheritance you have, from your wealth, from your family, being separated, because we have to pass through a sanctification process of separation, being cut off, and all that. So where we are right now, as he's saying, is brought us here, is a town that we didn't even know anybody, but God told us to stay here, and he didn't tell us in advance. When we came here, we thought we were just passing through, and he told us, okay, go and ask for accommodation here. And then we thought it was just a day. Every day it was like, you live, you live. And now it has been from 2022. Now it's been 2 years, and we have been here. And later on, after we stayed here for a few days, a few months, he told us that's the reason why you're here. You're here to minister to the remnants that are here, and just to encourage them, because I'm resting you in this transition place. So that's a slight, little explanation of what he was saying that have brought you here. I continue. Just because you think you're tired doesn't mean you're tired. Just because you uh, just because you want things to happen yesterday doesn't mean that that is God's timetable. It doesn't. Just because nothing happened today, that that doesn't mean that nothing happened. Just because nothing happened today doesn't mean that nothing was happening. There's so many things that there's so many things that is happening that you don't know about. Every street and path you pass, every stop, there are very many people being ministered to, being touched, being activated, that you don't even have an idea. So many people, I have so many people in this place. My daughter that is here, that is hosting you, is one of my hidden gems. So as we have moved around in this place, God has brought us in contact with a lady who told us that God had moved her to minister to us and to host us. So she hosted us for a short while, for about 3 weeks, and so God was talking about her now. So she doesn't know it. You don't know, you don't even know what she is, and yet she hosted you. You don't know, you don't even know what she is, yes, and yet she hosted you. And yet she hosted you as strangers. Can you see? In fact, we met her that day, and then I was told to minister to her. And after ministering to her is when and encouraging her is when she brought that issue up, like she's feeling like she's being pushed to host us or to help us in one way or another, and that's how it happened. Can you see where my spirit is working, is ministering to all of you? You are going to be connected in such a huge way in your coming future. You don't even know how, you, you don't even know how, you don't even know who she is, you don't even know her journey, you don't know where she's going, but she is one of my leaders. Those things that are limiting her from walking right, those that are those are just things I have hidden her in. She'll soon leave them behind. She'll not even know how it will happen. She won't know when it will happen, but until it happens, I'll continue hiding her and so many others, because I have so many gems. And so when he was explaining that, one of the issues she has is, we were given somebody who smokes, who eats Mira. I don't know if you know Mira, but she drinks, she smokes, and it was a trying time for us because we have never lived close to somebody like that, yeah. But because we were being hosted, we just took it in, and just thanked God for everything, because Yeshua never went to the people who didn't need him. Everyone that surrounded him needed a doctor in one way or another. So I continue. So many gems of my people walking around the streets. That's why you're here, to encourage so many people. Some of them have despaired, some of them have given up, but when you cross paths with them, when you stand near others, when you greet others and talk to them, that is where the miracle starts happening without you knowing. You won't even feel it, you won't even sense it, because some of them, it's many of them actually, it's not their time for them to be awakened, but you activate them. It's so many for the end times. Don't look at them now. Don't look at anybody's background. Don't look at how they are right now, because you will not see who they are. So I'm very glad for what you have done, enabled me to do through you, because it needed to happen. The way things have happened, they needed to happen. I'm the one who knows how, for what reason. So do not question me. Do not question just because things are not flowing like you think they should. That is not your problem. Your problem is to be available, and it's not even a problem. Your issue is just to be available, and it's not even an issue. Just be available for anything and do not ask when you're leaving here. I told you, you don't know the hour. I am the one who has the time, the one who manages time, the one who controls the time. So just be at peace. You are here to stay. You are not here to stay. You are not here to relax. You are not here to be at peace. You are here to rest. That's what he was telling us. You are here to recuperate because you had lost your joy, you'd lost your peace. And it's true, we had been battered, we had been persecuted, we had been chased away from so many places and called names, and people were saying we are devil worshippers because it was we started revealing to people that there are so many people who are coming to die globally um, because of the judgment that is happening. And so many people were getting scared because as God leads us to speak to people and tell them that, um, I don't know about global, but where we are in Kenya, it's anybody talking about death. They start thinking that you're here to sacrifice them. So that is why we had been, we were so down. So that's what he was saying. We are here to recuperate because we had lost our joy, we had lost our peace. And then he continues, but it's me who is doing it. I'm draining you of everything, draining you of so much so that you can start empty. So be at peace and be encouraged. Be at peace and be encouraged. Be at peace and be encouraged. I told you before, separation has reaction. So, however anybody reacts, it's not your problem. It's not a surprise to me. It's not a shock because separation has a reaction. Being separated results in a reaction, but I have still marked them. I have still covered them because that reaction is expected. That reaction has to happen. That reaction has to bring some people to their knees. It has to bring so many people to their knees. So, the reaction of separation is not your problem. Cut and go. Separate and walk on. Pass through and walk on. Ama, you didn't know you are the sword. Ama is a Swahili word. It's just an expression that didn't you know? It emphasizes, didn't you know? Or actually, ama means or you didn't you know that you are the sword? So let me repeat that sentence again. Cut and go, separate and walk on, pass through and walk on. Ama, you didn't know you are the sword. And the Lord, it was the first time he was revealing to that, but explaining more. But he had he had actually spoken one or two words for us to understand. There's something with us that remnants are the sword, like Jesus said, he did not come to bring peace, but a sword to separate a mother and her daughter and father and his son. So that is the sword he was talking to us about. He was saying, don't you know you are the sword? There are things you can't do anything about. Can't change who you are. You can't change how I use you. You can't change anything. You can't change who you are. You can't change your destiny. Just accept who you are. Just accept it. Because when you separate or are used to separate, especially people, and start them off into their future, you are cutting off their roots. You are cutting them off their roots. That is what is happening. Anything that they are attached to in their lives, their old life has to be separated, has to be severed, has to be cut off. Those roots have to be cut off. So nobody can do anything about the separations. Nobody can do anything about the cutting off. Nobody can control how I do it. So do not feel guilty. Do not refuse my work because it has to happen the way I want it, the way I have decreed it to be. Otherwise, Yeshua would not have accomplished the things he accomplished upon that cross. You have to be obedient to the core, obedient to the last, and the obedience is also for you to let go. Obedience is also for you to know in your heart, to decide in your heart that there is nothing you can do about who you are, about what you're doing, about your calling, about your mission. Everything about you, you can do nothing. So I separated you completely from your past. You could not have done it to everybody else if you had not walked into that path. So you're simply initiating them into that path that you have already walked into, that you have already begun to walk. That is what is happening. And that the it's not the Christian, it's not the Christianity you're used to, the religion you're used to. It is not. Consider your future and consider these small sacrifices you have to go through, and know that all the glory belongs to me as the architect of your lives, of your future. I'm very happy. I'm very happy. I'm very glad. I'm very glad. I am glad where you are. I'm glad. I am happy where you are. Relinquish that control. So it was an order to us, to me and my brother, especially my brother. Relinquish that control. Relinquish that control. Nothing is in your control. Relinquish it completely, that control. Whether it's control of your finances, control of your environment, relinquish it and let go. You will just hurt yourself. Relinquish that control. Give it up. Give it up. So that was the last sentence, and he ended there, and he released us from this. And as God finished, I also saw an archangel that we have, that has dealt with us before. Um, People have different names for him. Um, there's one, our friend who is also our ministry partner. She says when she sees him, he introduces himself as the enforcer. But for us, when we deal with him, he calls himself Lord Nun, a small Lord, Nun, Nun. And we have known him for many years, more than 20 years. We have dealt with him in the prayer group we had. And so he tells me that he knows where to touch my brother if he doesn't relinquish, to get the response he needed. So my brother has always had stomach issues, and God told him he's not going to heal him until the revival. When the revival happens, everything that has an issue in his body will disappear. So he was telling me he knows how to touch him. His stomach is where he will touch him and squeeze him, to get the response he needs if he doesn't relinquish control. So that was the last vision I saw that day. And I hope this encourages somebody to know that you have to relinquish all control, because as a remnant, as a forerunner, there is no control you have how God is taking you, because He's already taken over your life by now, and you're just being put in a place to mark time, to wait for the revival, even as you're doing other things, even as you're ministering to other people. So be encouraged, and be at peace. Peace, 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 and joy of the Lord over you. I minister joy, I minister peace, I minister the love of God over all of you, and that God will be glorified completely in your life, in whatever way, in whatever purpose, in whatever destinies you have, and that all will be well as we wait for the revival of God. Thank you so much for listening.